Lunchtime news. My name is O'Brien. See my mic. The microphone. It's a good afternoon to you. Many thanks for joining us. It is on the 25th day of June 2026. And of course, today the Gen Zs were commemorating this day. And of course, it has been an eventful morning. And of course, the afternoon and some parts of the country have witnessed some level of protest. And we just want to go now to Thika Road, where our reporter Abdi Aziz Hashim has camped outside the General Service Unit's headquarters. He's about to give us an update on what's happening there along Thika Road and whether traffic is normal and whether there are any protests. Hashim, if you can hear me, please give us an update on what's happening on Thika Road.
Well, thank you so much, O'Brien Kimani, for the better part of today, which is a Thursday, the 25th of June. We have been traversing the capital in various areas, including major roads leading to the Central Business District. As early as from 12 a.m. this morning, police officers were dispatched to various key installations, not only government institutions, but key institutions such as banks and schools and other vital institutions such as hospitals across the capital, including the major nerves leading to the Central Business District, where a section of protesters had vowed to lay a wreath at Parliament buildings to ensure that they remember the Gen Zs who lost their lives during the June 2024 demonstrations. Now, it started all at exactly 9 a.m. at around the Serena Hotel, where the processional way leading to State House and other key government institutions around there, where the opposition had met there with a section of the families members who were affected by the June 2024 protests, and they were seeking to lay wreath in Parliament. They addressed members of the Fourth Estate, of course, raising key concerns about how the police have barricaded various roads leading up to the Central Business District, complaining about how it has denied many people to continue with their day-to-day operations within the Central Business District. After that, they had decided to walk, or rather march, all the way to Parliament buildings. Of course, they had to use the Nyayo roundabout to reach their destination. Now, when they reached the Nyayo roundabout, police officers were forced to intervene. And right now, O'Brien, we can confirm to you that today police officers have used other tactics, including deploying vehicles which have sounds that they were emitting. And those sounds, even us as members of the press, we can tell you they were not comfortable sounds that were coming out from those vehicles, armored to the teeth, of course, to ensure that the protesters do not reach those key installations. But at the end of the day, through the regional commander, that is Isa Mohamud, told the officers to allow them to lay their flowers and go. That is what that happened. They had to lay the wreath there close to Parliament building. When they concluded, the United Opposition leaders, including Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, Boniface Mwangi, the former Chief Justice David Maraga, and a section of the affected families were able to do so, and then they left. But before they left, a section of the protesters had decided to continue singing and chanting to remember those who lost their lives. It got to a point even police officers had to intervene and ask them to leave, given that they had already laid the flowers there in Parliament buildings. Some of them refused, but the police officers were forced to arrest some of them. And of course, from there, we had to tour various major roads. Currently, we're in Thika Road. This is the current situation where police officers have mounted a road block here, but they're allowing vehicles and motorists to move about. But after they have asked them a series of questions about where they're going and the intentions of where they're going. Right now, you do know where we are. The GSU barracks is just closer to us. The NIS officers are just here, closer proximity to us. They're asking a series of questions to these motorists, but we have seen other motorists even deciding to jump some of these roadblocks as opposed to the directions of the police officers. Even earlier on, when the regional commander was addressing members of the 4th Estate, he just asked the people to comply with the police officers so that they can reach their destinations. This is the current situation in Thika Road. Elsewhere in Kangemi, same. The police officers have been able to they have put on barricades to ensure that they're able to ascertain the security of this particular area. Unlike in the past where we witnessed police officers were allowing people to come in easily, right now they will ask you a series of questions before they allow you to move within the central business district, because this is a departure from the norm. Right now, given that it is exactly even past 1 p.m., you will see a lot of vehicles on this Thika Road, given that it is a rush hour right now, but fewer vehicles, fewer motorbikes, fewer people on the streets, because majority of the Kenyans, a number of them within the central business district who operate normally on a day-to-day operations, have decided to stay back home, which the opposition are saying it is also a form of protest. We're still continuing to move around this major roads, including we want to head over to Mombasa Road and see the situation there. But from my end, that is all we had for you, Brian. So back to you.
Abdiaz is there giving us a status update on what's happening on your roads. And as you can see, that is Thika Road, one of the busiest highways into Nairobi city. It's completely deserted, and I do not know why police officers have to use stones and boulders, to blockade that road. It doesn't look good at all. And this is a situation on many roads that led to the capital. I just used Waiyaki, Limuru Road actually, and the situation was no different from the UN Avenue all the way to Limuru Road, Forest Road Junction. About 3 or 4 barricades there, and you must prove to the police officers that you deserve to go to Nairobi for them to allow you to proceed to where you're going. Let's now link up to Geoffrey Wahungu, who is also in the CBD. He's about to give us some updates on what's happening in Nairobi CBD. Geoffrey Wahungu, if you can hear me, please unroll for us what is happening. I can see you're exactly outside Parliament buildings. Give us an update on what's happening there.
Well, O'Brien Kimani, good afternoon. Of course, we're coming to you live from Parliament buildings, just outside Parliament buildings, and we've been monitoring the situation for the better part of the day since very early in the morning. What we've witnessed, of course, in the CBD was that the situation was relatively silent and quiet, no disturbances whatsoever. We went around majority of the streets. We went around Kenyatta Avenue, Parliament Road, Harambee Avenue, and most of the government installations, key security installations, were secured. We saw heavy presence of security officers who have, for the better part of the day, maintained security around, of course, Parliament, as you can see, and its precincts. We had the area being barricaded by this razor wire, and a few minutes ago we had activists together with families and some leaders led by, Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, the retired Chief Justice Maraga, and of course the Governor of Siaya, James Orengo, coming right here and laying a wreath as part of the memorial of the Gen Zs. And the situation was relatively silent. There was nothing much here to report about. But of course, we witnessed 2 or 3 demonstrators being arrested here. Earlier on in the morning, we had 2 to at least 5 of them being arrested. But the police officers largely, restraining themselves. Today, there was no tear gas. As you can see, at least I can smile. And so that has been the situation in CBD. We still, looking at how things look like, but we will, of course, we'll be covering more of this. As I told you earlier on, we had the leaders coming all the way from Serena Hotel down here together with the families and some of the demonstrators and people from activists who are coming here to, to commemorate the Memorial Day. And after that, they have all left. If my camera person, Lugusa, can pan the entire area, as you can see, it's relatively quiet. It's relatively calm. What we have here are these security officers who have been doing their job for the better part of the day. As you can see, going past this razor wire has not been easy. They have ensured that nobody crosses this wire. As you can see, that is a city hall way. The situation is, as you can see, there are no movement of vehicles there. The area around the Holy Family Basilica, only journalists can be seen, collecting information and news from this area. So that is likely how the city has been, O'Brien, for most of the day. We haven't seen anything much in as far as incidences or accidents are concerned. And of course, we had senior security officers here earlier on today coming here to assure the country that the situation is largely under control, not necessarily just here at Parliament buildings, but across the city and across the country. We are moving around CBD. We will be, looking at the situation from all corners. We'll be looking at businesses. Earlier on, we saw that most businesses were, shut down, probably due to fear of, unknown or what could have happened. But at this hour, probably 10 minutes past 1 p.m., there has been relative calm. There's been relative peace. As I said, the protesters were here earlier on, like 15 minutes ago, and they have all marched away from this area. And to this extent, O'Brien, that is what we can say from Parliament buildings. We will be back to you with more as the day progresses.
Geoffrey Wahungu there outside the Parliament, Parents 6, giving us update on the situation in Nairobi CBD. And of course, that is the picture that you are seeing there. It's quite empty. You don't have a lot of people around that area. And this is the situation in many parts of Nairobi. And especially roads leading to Nairobi city center. That has been the situation the whole day. Well, let's move on, where despite businesses being affected in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, as a majority of residents and traders opted to keep off the city center, a spot check by KBC in other towns across Kenya has revealed a relative calm. While some businesses remained closed and roads almost deserted, others went on with their usual activities. Here is Nancy Okware with the latest. Well, we're still working on that report, and the moment we have it, of course, we're going to roll it for you. Let's now move to the county of Kisii, where 2 people have died in separate road accidents involving the same vehicle at Mogonga and Riombase in Bamachoge, Borabu constituency. The PSV van with registration number KDV 426G first knocked down an 18-year-old pedestrian, Sylvia, at Mogonga Market. She died on the spot. About 2 kilometers away at Riombasa, the same matatu knocked down Jared Oyaro. He sustained serious injuries and later succumbed at the hospital. Eyewitnesses say the driver, identified as George, was believed to be under the influence of alcohol. After realizing he had hit the two pedestrians, the driver sped off. Families are appealing for swift police action to bring the culprit to book.
Walipikwa hapo na tunasikia walikongo na gari bako wapi, walituelezea alipelekwa Wembo. Hakuna gari ilisimama hapo, tunataka tuchue hiyo gari ilikonga hiyo mtoto wetu.
Kuna mtu tumempoteza pale, ni mwanaume mmoja wa umri wa makamu amekufa, na hapa tuko na msichana ambaye ameweza kufa.
Mwenye alifanya hiyo tendo achukuliwe, atua tupewe haki yetu. Kama mimi school fees yangu ni 80. Next week nafanya exam na baba yangu hayuko.
Elsewhere, Immigration and Citizen Services Principal Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang has directed chiefs and assistant chiefs across the country to mop up their jurisdictions to ensure all Kenyans aged 18 and above are issued with national identity documents to enable them to access various government services, as well as participate in the county's electoral process. The PS who spoke in Kisumu during sensitization forum for chiefs and their assistants in the Lakeside County pointed out that at least 60,000 Kisumu residents lack identity cards despite being of age. He revealed the government was considering scrapping any charges on the critical documents such as identity cards and birth certificates to further facilitate access. PS Kipsang further urged the over 300,000 Kisumu residents who are yet to enlist as voters to do so ahead of next year's general election.
Part of the Kenyans who make decisions of this country and them playing their civic duty. But the most important thing that we want to emphasize is centrality of identity documents. When you have an ID, you are able to register for SHA. When you have an ID, you are able to register for Bomayangu. When you have an ID, you are able to benefit from Nyota. When you have an ID as a student, you are able to benefit from the loans. You remember the president waived 300 shillings, which used to be paid by those applying for the ID for the first time. He has also waived charges that are there when you are replacing your ID. There is already discussion in waiving the 200 shillings that is paid by those getting the birth certificates. So very soon, all these documents will be free.
The Higher Education Loans Board is now seeking all avenues to recover 89 billion shillings in HELB loans from individuals who are in the informal sector and outside the country. To recover the said amount, HELB says it is partnering with the Kenya Revenue Authority to enforce recovery of the money to enable it fund other deserving Kenyans who are currently struggling. Appearing before the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education, HELB Chief Executive Officer Geoffrey Monari says the defaulters are denying other Kenyans an opportunity to secure their future. The Higher Education Loans Board has informed the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education that they have resorted to partnering with various government agencies to nab those who have defaulted on their HELB loans.
We were enabled to work with the Kenya Revenue Authority so that we can be able to access people who are self-employed currently in the database. So that is one of our main strategies which we are now embarking on, because we know students who are, especially in the gig economy, there are many students doing jobs that are even facilitating foreigners.
The HELB CEO Geoffrey Monari says that the board has collected 7.3 billion shillings during the current fiscal year, but 30% of the students who take up the loan are yet to repay.
We also have the debt collectors who are going out there to look for these self-employed people, because they are people who are engaging in various economic activities. So these are some of the strategies we are using. The self-employed, we are listing them, because if you are self-employed and you want access to credit, you cannot be able to access if you have got a loan with us. It means when you go to the bank, then you'll come to us, we have to agree on how you can be able to repay that loan.
So, set up which media?
Meanwhile, a section of ODM lawmakers have urged residents of Nyanza not to participate in the planned June 25th demonstrations on Thursday.
The government has come to us with peace and projects. Let us not respond with stones and protests. We are telling our people to refuse to be recruited to bite the hand that feeds us.
We request our people to be peaceful tomorrow. There is no protest, and they should go on with their business of the day. Mainly, Langata has been peaceful throughout. We've never had those demonstrations. Kibera, no demonstration of late. There's no demonstration in Madari. There's no demonstration in Ruaraka and the larger Embakasi.
The lawmakers, led by the Budget and Appropriations Committee Chair Samola Tande, urged the residents from the Nyanza region to ignore the calls made by a section of leaders allied to the Linda Mwananchi faction to take to the streets.
The statement is very clear that we want to urge our people to stay back. And we want them to stay back. We hope that they will stay back and that they will not be able to come out and listen to those selfish leaders.
Still in Parliament, where members of the National Assembly have taken a swipe at governors over what they term as the lack of prudent use of monies in relation to service delivery at the devolved units. While considering the county allocation of revenue bill for the next financial year, the lawmakers question whether the funds are sent to counties each financial year give commensurate services to the people on the ground. The MP cited the healthcare services as some of the programs that have been sabotaged, further frustrating the operations of the Social Health Authority scheme. The 47 counties will be sharing 428 billion shillings in the fiscal year 2026-2027. Among the allocations are Nairobi County receiving 22 billion shillings, Kakamega 14 billion, Kiambu 13.5, Mandera 12.5 billion shillings, among others.
But where I say governors are letting us down in the county governments, they never inform the public. They do not want the public to know. They do not want the public to know that the government has allocated 19 billion shillings to pay health care for them, because they also want to steal from the same public by charging them again. Honorable Speaker, this is the most evil thing any human being can do to another. Then the same people go and tell the people out there, oh, SHA is not working. It is not SHA that is not working. It is your theft that we can't satisfy. It is their greed we can't satisfy, Honorable Speaker. If we allocate 19 billion shillings to the primary health care fund, that money must go to ensure that the people of Kenya access health care at the primary level without payment.
I am on record as saying that a careful scrutiny of the Constitution leads to the conclusion that when the decision was made to devolve health in its generality, it was the mistake. Because the schedule, the kind of health facilities that are covered by the county is not health generally. It is only certain health facilities that previously were run under the local government department, and not everything generally. So I would actually agree with you that that mistake was made several.
As we speak today and as we go into the next financial year, my county will be having about 5.3 billion. Another 1-point-something billion is going to come from conditional grants and other monies that are allocated to counties. So it will have about 7 billion. Question we repeat is, let's go to Tharaka Nithi today, look at what CDF has done in the 3 constituencies and what the county government has done. In fact, it would be a shame because they have not done anything.
The local governments in the past were actually collecting more money than what we are realizing now in the counties. And therefore, this is of concern, because when counties are only waiting to get money from what is collected by the national government, and yet they have the ability and capacity to be able to raise their own revenue, then this brings a problem.
Elsewhere, hundreds of participants turned up for the third edition of the Father's Run, an event aimed at promoting men's health and creating awareness about prostate cancer. The run brought together men, women and families in a show of solidarity and support for men's wellness. Participants took part in 6-kilometer, 12-kilometer as well as 12-kilometer races. The race, organized by a non-governmental organization, served as a platform to urge men, especially those over 50 years, to undergo regular medical checkups. The screening will ensure early detection, which improves treatment outcomes. Data from the National Cancer Institute shows approximately 2,800 new prostate cancer cases are recorded annually, resulting in 1,300 deaths.
Mainly just focused on movement, not really intensity. We had a 21-kilometer run, we had a 12-kilometer run and a 6-kilometer fun walk, which was well attended also.
When the elders are not healthy, then the society suffers with all sorts of things, right? So we want our fathers to age gracefully and not to age with any pain. We want them to have a high quality of life. Longevity is important, but quality of life is even more important.
Other than just being a run, it's symbolic in that fathers run every other day. They're running in their mind, they're running to keep up with everyday activities, to support their families. And so we actually appreciate, we see it, and that is why we are here to support this very important cause of supporting and appreciating fathers on this very day.
And of course, we hope men will take up that challenge and of course go for early screening for wellness checkups. A family in Kiambu County is living in anguish following the disappearance of their 30-year-old kin, Peter Mbogo, who was allegedly abducted by unknown assailants along the Nairobi Eastern bypass between Utawala and Kamulu on Friday evening last week. The family is now appealing to security agencies to intensify investigations and deploy all available resources to trace and rescue Peter alive, saying they remain heartbroken and uncertain about his whereabouts.
According to the family, Peter was heading home in the company of his colleagues when he was allegedly accosted by unknown men, forced into a vehicle and driven to an unknown destination.
Kuya Friday akitoka kazini, walikuwa watu wanangoja gari ndio aende nyumbani, ndio watu walikuja, sijui ni watu watatu atino walikuja na gari ndio walimsukua, wengine waliwaswa, yeye mwenyewe ndio alibebwa.
Walikuwa na yeye akichukuliwa hiyo Friday, wanasema hata wao wenyewe wanashangaa kwa hawajui kama ni askari, kwa walikuja watu wakiwa na gari kwa mbio, watu walikuwa wamevaa mahoods na kofia na mask na walikuwa na mabunduki.
Peter's mother, Esther Wanjiru Mbogo, described him as a disciplined, hardworking and loving son who has never been involved in criminal activities.
Alikuwa anafanya kazi ya plumber, kupaka rangi na kuweka hizi stima za sola, na ni fundi. Mtoto vile nimemlea, sio mtoto alikuwa ukorofi na mtu, hakuangi na matatizo yoyote na mtu. Mtoto mwenye roho mzuri na kupenda watu. Sijaisikia amepigana na mtu ama kukorofana na mtu. Ningependa tu mtoto wangu nitafutiwe tu na serikali, jua ndio wanaweza kuwa na nguvu ya kumtafuta. Nipatiwe tu mtoto wangu akiwa uhai.
The family says they reported the matter at Ruai Police Station and later visited several other police stations, including Muthaiga Police Station, in search of their kin, but their efforts have so far yielded no leads.
Niliweza jukumu ya kutembea Ruai, nikaenda hadi Ruai Police Station Saturday, nikazunguka Ruai Police Station, nikazunguka Ruai yote Police Station, hakuna pahali yako. Nikapigia wenye walikuwa na yeye siku hiyo akiabductiwa, na tukakuwa na mwenye walikuwa na yeye akaandikisha statement, OB number niko nayo. Kutoka hapo nikazunguka police station zote Nairobi, hayuko. Nimeenda mpaka Ruiru, hayuko. So hata mimi mwenyewe nashangaa, mwenye amechukua Peter, shida gani mko na yeye? Ama ni nini hiyo yenye amefanya yenye hatujui?
They are now appealing to the government to come to their aid and help them find their missing kin.
And of course, we're watching the lunchtime news, with the time now coming to 1:27. We are taking our first break. We are coming back with more stories. Stay right here.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers. Moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Majina naitwa Eric Opio. Mimi ni mkaji wa Kibra. Naomba rais venye alisema ataleta Arsenal icheze wapi? Atalanta Stadium. Afanye hivyo na tunamshukuru kwa kuleta World Cup kwa KBC. Sasa tunawatch ukiwa wapi? Nyumbani. Mimi ni supporter wa Manchester United.
Argentina is my team actually na I support na ipenda sana and imekuwa poa pia game zao kiwatch pia ziko fiti like iko to best team ya Messi now. Unajua Messi ndio the GOAT. So team yake ndio iko poa and yeah.
Nasema hivi, hii World Cup ingekuwa fair kama timu za East Africa ingekuwa hata moja, angalau hata moja mbili, lakini hayuko fair. European competition tumeitwa tuka compete huko, which mean hatuwezi mshinda si watu wa Afrika.
You're watching the Lunchtime News, and my name is O'Brien Kimani. Let's give you an update on what's happening in the capital city of Nairobi, where despite businesses being affected in Kenya's capital of Nairobi, as majority of residents and traders opted to keep off the city centre, a spot check by KBC in other towns across Kenya has revealed a relative calm. While some businesses remained closed and roads almost deserted, others went on with their usual activities, as Nancy Okware tells us.
This was the situation in Kitengela town as Thursday dawned. The streets were largely deserted for the better part of Thursday morning as traders stayed away for fears of possible looting and unrest, despite a heavy deployment of police officers across the town.
Naona tu kukuwe na amani, sioni haja maandamano. Nakaa kuna maandamano ikuwe peaceful. Tusikuwe na mgogoro kati ya vijana na makarao.
Tujui utakula nini leo? Mapolisi wameka tension huku kila mahali. Nimefungwa kutoka asubuhi, hakuna mtu nimenyoa.
Makarao warudi tu pati yao, waache sisi tufanye biashara. Jua makarao akiingia huku ndani wanauzia watu woga, watu wanafunga kazi.
Mimi mzaji mayai. Hatuwezi endelea mabiashara kama tunavurugwa.
The situation was similarly calm in parts of the coastal county of Kilifi, with businesses remaining open. In Migori County, business activities continued uninterrupted. A spot check conducted in major towns across the county, including Migori, Kehancha, Awendo, Rongo and Isebania, revealed that traders opened their businesses as usual.
To us who are not in the road, we don't condemn what is going on because it was just a simple commemoration. We are together with them.
Makumbusho inaweza fanywa mahali tofauti tofauti kama kanisa ama wanaweza tafuta uwanja mahali ili waweke hiyo kumbusho.
Kama ni kuomboleza wale ambao walikufa katika maandamano, ni heri watu waende kanisani ama wakae kwa nyumba waombeleze watu wao kwa amani.
At Rironi along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway, police officers diverted vehicles below 7 tons to use Ngechu-Kabuku-Limuru Road. Only heavy trucks were allowed to access Kikuyu Southern Bypass.
Kama mimi nilikuwa nasafiri nifike Nairobi, ndio nitoke Nairobi niende Mtito wa Ndei. Lakini kwa sasa kulingana na vile hali ilivyo, inaonekana sitaweza kufika kweli.
Hapa tukaambia tuingie hapa. Nikaona afadhali kwa usalama ya watu yangu, afadhali basi tutulie kuliko kwenda watu waumie barabarani.
Wengine wao walikuwa nasafiri kwenda Mombasa. Walikuwa na connect bus kutoka Nairobi waende Mombasa. Sasa sijui itakuwa namna gani kwa sababu sasa hapa hatujui tutakaa muda gani.
In Kiambu town, the situation was relatively calm, although businesses remained closed.
Wale vijana ambao mimi ningewaomba
ni maandamano iishe. Kama tunafanya maandamano, afadhali tunawakumbuka kwa maombi kuombea hata nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Ile kitu imenishangaza asubuhi ya leo, ukiingia hapa Kiambuta unapata polisi wamefunga njia na mtu hawezi pita. Na si jenzi peke hadi wafanyabiashara, so huku unapata hadi watu hawajatokea.
Watu hawajaingia mabiashara. Mimi nilikuja nikapika uji lakini sijauza. Niko bado nayo kwa mkono.
Kwa hivyo tutulie na tukaa hivyo. Na askari wasipiga watu marisasi afadhali. Mimi naomba. Kama umeajiriwa kazi, usipiga watu marisasi.
In Ruiru, Kiambu County, the One Tribe, One Nation Gen Z movement has ruled out the possibility of taking to the streets. They have instead called on other Gen Zs to light candles at 7 p.m. in remembrance of those who lost their lives during the anti-finance bill demonstrations in 2024.
Once you light that candle, you take a video, ingia live pale, and then we say a prayer and we commemorate our heroes in a different style.
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Kenyans have been urged to fully embrace technology as the country advances the digitization of its services. The call comes amid massive regulatory and infrastructure transition led by newly formed Digital Health Agency, which is working to roll out a comprehensive integrated health information system.
Speaking during a health stakeholders forum in Naivasha, health experts noted that digital health innovations have the potential to transform healthcare delivery by ensuring more people can access quality health services regardless of their location.
You can go, there's a tab that talks about healthcare facilities and you can click on near me and you're able to see a list of facilities that is near where you are that you can go and get care.
Dr. Joyce Uwomiwe from Digital Health Agency says the adoption of digital health systems, especially mobile health applications, will play a critical role in supporting the attainment of universal health care.
A lot of our elderly people, what they do, they carry all the medicines they are taking, including the empty cartons, to go and show the daktari. But now, through either Afya Yangu or giving consent to the healthcare provider, the facility, then the provider can be able to see.
However, the experts noted that successful implementation of digital health innovations will require strict adherence to data protection laws.
We have credentials that are given to the duty bearers, and specific people create credentials of this duty of the access to the back end to see the specific issues.
And a section of women from Malaso Valley in Samburu County will now be able to venture into entrepreneurship and ease of a reliance on pastoral activities that are vulnerable to erratic weather patterns and cases of cattle rustling. The women, who majority of them are widows after their husbands were killed during banditry attacks, are struggling to make ends meet after the only family livelihood, livestock, was lost to cattle rustlers. However, through a student-led financial literacy program that includes upskilling in table banking and bookkeeping, the women can now save and cushion their livelihoods in terms of risks. The program also targets women livestock herders who want to diversify into other sectors for socio-economic development.
Tukaamua kuwa na group alafu ndio mama tuko kutoleana mapesa tu kama 100 200 alafu ndio tunaendelesha maisha kila siku.
Amekuja kufundisha nini kuanza biashara, watoto kuweka mama kuweka nini safi kwa account ndio tuweze kuinua biashara nyingine hata kidogo kidogo ya kusaidia jamii familia yetu.
I developed a model to teach especially women, because they're the backbone of any family, to teach them about financial literacy, especially like opening accounts, how to use mobile banking, and also to teach them on how to work as groups, form different groups, open bank accounts, and create leverages in order to borrow loans anytime they need to borrow loans when they want to pursue entrepreneurship opportunities.
And Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Nasir has called on education leaders to strengthen support systems for learners to curb extreme behavior and build a safer, more supportive school environment. Speaking at the 49th Annual National Conference of the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association Kesha in Mombasa, Governor Nasir urged members of parliament and other stakeholders in the education sector to create an environment where every learner has the opportunity to thrive. The governor underscored the importance of collaborative leadership between learners, parents, as well as education stakeholders, saying meaningful progress in schools will only be achieved through a united and proactive approach. He stressed the need to champion teacher empowerment and place greater focus on student mental health, noting that interventions must be preventive rather than reactive.
To improve maternal and child health care, as it has been said, we have mapped all the pregnant women, and we have our CHPs who are monitoring all these mapped expectant mothers, and we know even those ones who are at high risk, and we encourage them to be attending antenatal care in our facilities, and we are discouraging deliveries at home.
So we will continue running without shortage. No mother should deliver at home because we have enough staff who can take care of them. We are going to look for them even from their homes. We are currently registering in courtesy of the county government. We are tracing all the mothers, all the women who are pregnant to attend our clinics.
School and college administrators have been challenged to fully enforce laws and regulations aimed at combating drug abuse among learners amid growing concerns about the rising number of young people engaging in substance use across the country. Speaking during a public participation forum on the proposed ban of shisha in Kakamega, Kenya Tobacco Control Alliance chairperson Joel Gitali accused a section of learning institutions of failing to implement government policies designed to curb drug abuse among students. Gitali urged universities and colleges to take firm action against individuals involved in the sale and distribution of drugs within the education institutions, warning that inaction continues to expose learners to substance abuse and addiction.
Hawa vijana ambao wanajiingiza katika matumizi ya shisha, wao ndio huishia kuwa hata wahalifu, kwa maana mtu akishakuwa na uraibu anataka sana shisha lakini hana pesa, atafanya nini? Atafanya uhalifu.
Our children are able to access these drugs, and that's why I'm calling for the increase in taxes of such drugs. For example, the cigarettes, the tobacco products, we should increase the taxes, because if you increase the taxes, it means the prices of such products will go high, and the children or the students will not be able to afford.
The third Performing Arts Conference highlighted efforts to position Kenya's creative sector as a major economic industry rather than just a cultural space. Organized by the Kenya Cultural Center, the conference brought together artists, policymakers, academics, as well as investors to discuss how performing arts can create sustainable jobs and livelihoods. CEO Michael Pundo says the focus has shifted towards building a viable performing arts industry through better policies, investment, as well as market opportunities. Meanwhile, George Geshara of Hiva Fund emphasized that culture under Article 11 of Kenya's Constitution should be treated as a foundation for economic growth, innovation, as well as national identity. He also noted that evolution, digital technology, and social media have expanded opportunities for creating new forms of cultural production and distribution.
We are now not talking about performing arts sector, but we are talking about an industry, an economy, and that has been born out of the fact that there's growing need to look at arts and performing arts specifically as an entrepreneurship.
In a chapter or an article called Article 11, as Kenya, we recognize that culture is the foundation of this nation, of this republic. We imagine culture as the cumulative civilization of the Kenyan people. Increasingly also, it is infrastructure for economic value.
The Migori County Referral Hospital is once again under scrutiny following allegations of medical negligence that reportedly led to the death of a mother after childbirth. The family of Immaculate Wanjiru, a resident of Onsingo village in Suna East Sub-County, claims she died under negligence by medical personnel during delivery. More of these and other stories in our county's news roundup.
The family of Immaculate Wanjiru has accused Migori County Referral Hospital of negligence following her death after childbirth. According to her husband, Peter Ojwang Atonga, Wanjiru was referred to the hospital with a breech pregnancy, underwent a cesarean section and delivered a healthy baby.
Na wakati wanasema walifungua tena mahali walikuwa wameshatoboa, kwa sababu najua sindano wa kwanza wa kufanyiwa theater inakuanga ile sindano yenye itakava ile wakati anafanyiwa mpaka maliziwe. Saa hii ya pili akidungwa tena sindano, alidungwa ama hakudungwa.
In Molo, Nakuru County, farmers in Nyarwai and Kiambiriria areas are counting heavy losses after an outbreak of blight and mildew destroyed maize and potato crops. The farmers say the diseases spread rapidly, causing crops to wither and die before maturity, wiping out large sections of farmland.
Umeona vile mahindi imechomeka na barafu. Na hii barafu inaangukaga mwezi wa 9. Lakini mwaka hii imeanguka mapema mwezi wa 6. Venye jua ikiwaka, barafu inaanguka. Sasa tunatarajia tupate usaidizi. Sijui ni dawa itapatikana, sijui nini itapatikana, tunataka usaidizi.
In Narok County, healthcare, education and infrastructure are top priorities in the county's 16.74 billion shillings budget for the 2026-2027 financial year. Finance CECM David Olemontet said that the budget is aimed at boosting economic growth, improving service delivery and enhancing climate resilience.
Despite the global economic hardship, we anticipate moderate growth in Narok County, supported by investment in infrastructure, tourism, agribusiness, livestock sector, with a continued focus on the climate resilient initiatives and green economic transitions.
Finally, artists in Meru County have lauded the Talanta Mashinani initiative sponsored by Meru Woman Representative Karambu Kailemia for providing young people with opportunities to nurture their talents while discouraging drug and substance abuse.
Hapa Meru tuko na wasanii wengi, tuko na watu gifted, na theme ya leo ni komesha miadarati. Tumeangalia, nimeenda bahali nikaona kuna watoto wengi wale wametupa hope, wanaanza kunywa pombe.
Let's now head to Mombasa County, where Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Nasiri has called on education leaders to strengthen support systems for learners to curb extreme behavior and build a safer, more supportive school environment. Speaking at the 49th Annual National Conference of the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association, KESHA, in Mombasa, Governor Nasir urged members of Parliament and other stakeholders in the education sector to create an environment where every learner has the opportunity to thrive. The governor underscored the importance of collaborative leadership between teachers, parents and all education stakeholders, saying meaningful progress in schools will only be achieved through a united and proactive approach. He stressed the need to champion teacher empowerment and place greater focus on students' mental health, noting that interventions must be preventive rather than reactive.
The children that we're currently teaching and future generations
demand and they deserve that every one of us provide to them what was provided for us. The first thing that we have done as a county government is we have started, and I think we've already done 18 schools in Mombasa, an assessment on fire. So that, God forbid, in case of anything, we know, and we're going to be doing this for all the schools. As much as we're doing this in the hotels and all the other, in the hospitals, just an assessment of the level of fire that is there. But then after that, we did one thing. And I want to thank the CS for education on this. Because we could not wait for the bureaucracies of paperwork. I called the CS and I told him, allow me to do a very confidential questionnaire to these students for us to be able to get an insight of what are the issues that are really affecting these students. Coincidentally, about 40% of these students felt that they were better off talking on that questionnaire than talking to the teachers.
Time now for sports, where the Atlas Lions of Morocco have advanced to the round of 32 in the ongoing FIFA World Cup after an entertaining Group C match, which saw them defeat Haiti 4-2 at the Atlanta Stadium. Morocco's win ensured a second-place finish in the group behind Brazil, who also secured their ticket after a 3-0 defeat of Scotland at the Miami Stadium. The Bafana Bafanas of South Africa progressed to the knockout stage of the FIFA World Cup for the first time when they beat South Korea 1-0, courtesy of Tapela Maseko's second-half goal at the Monterrey Stadium. The victory saw South Africa wrap their Group A campaign as runners-up to Mexico, who topped the group with an unbeaten record. After a 3-0 triumph over Czechia, South Africa will face Canada on Sunday in the round of 32 after the co-host finished second in Group B despite a 2-1 defeat by winners Switzerland in their last group match. Bosnia boosted their chances when they beat Qatar 3-1 at Seattle Stadium. The quest for the round of 32 continues tonight, with the Elephants of Ivory Coast playing debutant Curacao in the Group E last encounters. The match